Hello people. I hope you are doing extremely well. First of all, if you are new to this channel or if you haven't subscribed my channel till now, then guys do consider subscribing my channel. It will really motivate me to create more such content for you. And also you can follow me on other platforms as well. The link is given there in the description itself. So guys, in our series of podcasts, we are back with another podcast, and in this podcast, we are going to talk about the journey of Sagar. He has recently made a switch from a service-based company, that is TCS, to a product-based company, that is PayPal. So we'll be getting a chance to know more about his journey, the recruitment process, how he got the opportunity, and so many questions and queries that you'll be having in your mind. So make sure to be with us till the end of this video. So let's get started. So thank you so much, Sagar, for being here on my channel. It's a pleasure to have you here. I believe the journey that you're going to share on my channel, it is going to be really helpful for the audience. So can you please start with your introduction?
Yeah, surely. Thanks, Soumya. Thanks for having me on your channel. Hi everyone. So, people who don't know me, my name is Sagar Sundar, and I'm from Bangalore. I'm currently working at PayPal. I have more than like 2 years of experience working in product-based company and in service-based company also. Recently, I was working in TCS before. So I transitioned from TCS to PayPal, like in past like 1.5 years. So currently I'm working in PayPal, and my tech stack majorly involves Java in the backend, and in front end I mostly work on React.js.
Okay, great. So as you have specified, like you have worked previously with TCS, right, a service-based company, and right now you're working with PayPal, a product-based company. So what do you think, like, what's the difference when working in a service-based or in a product-based company? What's the difference that you felt like?
Mhm. So recently, my service-based company working majorly involved in working in three major companies. One was Walmart, one was JCPenney, and the another one was Airbnb. So the curious part is like you get to interact with a lot of tech people, like from all the other product-based companies also. So like you'll be mixed with a lot of tech skills that you need to be always upgrading yourself. You can't be on a standby mode. So that's like a really good thing. So like I experienced that in Walmart. As I started in Walmart, like I didn't know like what was the front end technology. So that's when I had to like really pick it up my React.js skills. I learned that in like a month or two, yeah, month itself. It happened like 3 years back. So for me, that was an exciting part. So I had never worked on front end. I was majorly like a guy who was working in a backend only. Like I knew only the basics of Java at that point. So then I transitioned myself in learning React.js. So that was the most interesting part that had happened while working with the Walmart. Then when I transitioned, like I was for a brief moment of time, I worked with Airbnb. There it was mostly working on some Java skills, like it was dependent on Java skills. Then when I moved to JCPenney, I was given my tasks were all related to backend itself, where I had to develop that backend server layer and how that it's connecting to database and how we are going to interact with the UI. I mean the API integration. How are we going to do that? So I got to see the end-to-end part of it, like how it goes from the UI to the backend, like how the data is being fetched from the database and how it is being presented in the UI. So that was the most interesting part for me. So that was the whole TCS experience for me. So in that phase, like after like around I was hired, my career actually started in the COVID, like in 2020, just when that first wave and the second wave had begun. So for me, there was like a very less training part, and like we were directly given the hands-on project. So I was always excited for that. Like for a new guy, always getting like a new project, it's always a good thing because like those guys are really excited to work also, right? Yeah. So this was my TCS experience. Yeah.
Okay, so now as you are working in PayPal, so what do you think? Like, as here you specified that you got a chance to, work with different people from different product-based companies, and here you yourself is a part of a product-based company. So, what do you feel like any difference, kind of like what I'm getting, what you explained to the TCS part? So, frequently we have to learn, as like that is the thing. Like adaptability is the most important thing when you're in the corporate. So,
Mhm.
yeah, like anything.
While coming my PayPal experience, right? It was more like directly involved, like here in like if you're working for a big tech company, right? The difference, the major difference that I found out between service-based and product-based is that like we are the product owners. That is the like one good thing. Like we have to give the end-to-end, like if something happens to that product, we are responsible for it. But that's not the case that happens in service-based. Like if something happens and if that contract period is done, like someone the other people will come and handle it. Okay. So in product-based companies, one thing is like we get to know the depth of the product. It's not like this is like in service-based company, we learn. So while I was in TCS, I got to experience a lot of skills, like a lot of languages in a multiple way. So basically, I had to multitask at every possible scenario. Like I can't be like I just know Java and I'll just stick to it. I'll just be the backend guy. You can't do that. Like you have to be the full stack guy itself. You have to know the end to end, like what happens there from the backend side, even on the front end side. But while I was selected to PayPal, right? Like initially they expected that he'll be the backend engineer for this particular product. And while working in like product-based companies, you get to feel that like impact, like how the backend engineer is making, because the depth of the product, right? Like it takes like years together, like for the product to release also. So that's the one thing. Like I got to know the depth of the product, like how my small contribution will make an impact to the company, how like who are the clients that we are interacting each and every step of the way. Yeah. So that was the like that was a new experience for me. So like I had never experienced that. So that's also a good thing.
Yeah, obviously it is. So, okay, so I was basically having this question separately for you, like how was your experience with TCS, but I believe you have already elaborated more on it, like what was the things that you worked on, what you learned and all. So, okay, we can have this question in this way. So, TCS is a mass recruiting companies, and it gives a chance to many folks who are even not from CSIT background to come into the IT sector. So, what do you like? What's your opinion on that? Like how would you recommend TCS to the fresher? Like, should according to you, should they join TCS? Like, what's your basically point of view on that?
I think TCS is the best company to get started with, because you will get to know, like you'll be surrounded with people who are like learning all of the skills, and you have to choose your own path, right? So like initially, like if you get started in something like a startup base, you'll just stick to just one set of like a like MERN stack or something like that. But if you go into TCS, you get to explore that opportunities like are more actually. And since I was the guy who didn't know anything about CS, I had done my majors in electronics and communication from VIT Vellore. So for me, jumping into the IT side, I mean the CS side, was like a whole different experience. So I had always I didn't know like what was happening and everything. So initially, he like when I had like interviewed for TCS also, so I just knew the basics. So like how to write a program or how to just get started with backend engineering. So when I jumped into TCS, I got a lot of scenarios, and those projects were really interesting. So that's when I started to develop my skills. Like it's like having a feather in your hat, right? Like yeah, you need to like have those more and more skills. So I think TCS is the best way. Like you'll get to know all of the product companies also, like depending on the opportunities also. So that's one good thing. Like if you want to begin in your career in TCS.
Okay, got it. So this question, most of the freshers do have their mind because everyone is having their own opinion. So some do suggest, some say that okay, one should not join TCS. So that's why I thought that you are the best person to answer this question. Okay, so let's move on to our next question. So like it's just a question like why you started looking for a transition, or is it like during your college days itself you are having this thought in your mind that you want to get into a product based company, or like how the things were for you?
To be honest, like while I was in my fourth year of engineering, I had started coding like from third year. So I didn't know like what are the companies outside. So the one company that I know was like TCS, Infosys, and like Mindtree. These were the companies that I knew. So in college days, when the placements are also happening, right? So some of the students who are like doing like non-CS backgrounds, right? They are unaware of the companies or like how the hiring actually happens, like how the interview processes go. So I was unaware of a lot of things. So when I was interviewed for TCS, like I was tested on those CS skills itself. Then like that was my first interview, so I had panicked a lot that time. So for me, like when I experienced like the whole set of skills in TCS and the whole set of product-based companies, that all awareness and realization came to my mind. So one thing what I did was like I looked out like what's actually happening, or like what's the market, like what's the trend going on nowadays. So that time I decided, okay, let's start applying to those product-based companies. So that's how I had transitioned it. Yeah. And my reason to transition from service to product-based companies is basically that it's just a like I wanted to get out of like a service-based and product-based. It's not like that. I just want to have a new experience actually.
Got it. Got
Like everyone fixates that like it's a service-based company and we have to transition to product-based company. It's not like that, but the opportunities in TCS are also more. But it's very subjective. It's a personal opinion to everyone, and that's when I just chose like I need to take the jump here.
Very well. You have explained it very well. So, okay, now coming to your, as you have started looking for the opportunities, so you must have done very well preparation for that. So, what were the resources that you believe or you followed during your preparation journey?
Okay. So to know like what are the requirements, what to learn from the for the interview preparation for the fraud-based companies, right? So initial days, what I did was since I didn't know any of the computer fundamentals, even though I was in TCS, I didn't know some of the computer fundamentals, like something like operating system, like how will you solve those like some particular problems there, like which were asked in my product-based company interviews also. They were specifically pinpointed out and they were asked. So I prepared that out. But the resources, like how initially I had followed was there are like many of the YouTube channels there. You don't even need to have something like a paid course, or you don't need to like go to someone and get something like a tuition based scenario or something. No need to do that. So I just followed all the YouTube resources. The initially I had started following the Striver series, like the Take You Forward. That is one YouTube channel that is a must for DSA. Like if anyone who is not aware of DSA, that Raj Vikramaditya, he explains it very well. So that's the number one. I still follow it to the day. Second one for basics of operating system and basics of DBMS, right? So there are like many resources. Specifically, I followed was there was one series by Love Over. At that time, he was newly starting out, newly creating those episodes day by day. So that was he had explained it very terrifically. So I had learned that there itself. And then when like interview preparation, one thing is like it's always company specific. Like these were all the basics till now, the resources, everything. Like when you're preparing for an interview, the one thing to keep in mind is like what the company wants. It's not like what skills you have, or like I have learned Java or I have learned Python, that will be enough, I'll get a job. It's not like that. Like when you're applying for companies like Amazon or like the FANG based companies, right? Like what are the skills they are looking out? Are they looking out for a front end developer? Are they looking for a back end developer? So you like basically like make those skills, like develop those skills accordingly, and then you apply to it. And yeah, like I did this way. Like I didn't go the normal way. Like you do DSA like around 400, 500 problems, then start applying to product-based companies. But initially, I had started that. What I did was like I did the reverse way. I checked out like what were the previous interviews done. Like the previous interviews can be found out very easily from Lead Code or Geeks for Geeks also. They were super helpful actually. So I saw like what were they expecting from a candidate or the applicant, like what are the skills required, and they were all very specific to skill based questions. They were nothing related to what's done in your past or something like what are the projects you have handled. They were looking for a guy like who can solve their problems. So we have to prepare ourselves accordingly. It's not like I have done this much, so they will accept me directly. That's a wrong perception to have. So I went with that way, and it worked. Like I worked, I successfully cracked Amazon. I successfully cracked PayPal, even the Dell interviews, and some of the startups also. So that was a terrific experience. So I got to know like what were asked, and honestly speaking, this one segment, right, like the computer science community that the LinkedIn has been created. There are like a lot of people to interact.
Right.
So that was an amazing thing. I just like tried to cold message someone, and they would explain me like what are the resources to learn, and how would you go there, and what are the initial steps like a pattern wise you need to follow to get into problem solving and everything. So that's how I had prepared for product based interviews.
Got it. Got it. Yeah, you have I must say that you have explained the things again really well, and you specified about the LinkedIn. So yeah, that is a must to have. You
Mhm.
it's not like nowadays also some students, like I think students nowadays are very well aware about the platform, but still if someone is there, if you are not using it, then guys I would say start using the platform. It's super helpful, because sometimes we ask for the guidance. So right now there are so many platforms which are charging for the guidance, so I don't think that one should pay for it. There are multiple peoples belonging to your domain, you can reach out to them over LinkedIn and get your queries resolved. So yeah, thank you for mentioning that. So you specified that you have cracked these many companies, so definitely we'll try to cover all of them
Mhm.
if possible in a certain other podcast. But right now I would like to know, like, how was the experience, like, and basically how was the interview process with the PayPal?
All right. So to begin with, PayPal, like how I had applied for PayPal also. There's
Mhm,
a platform, like there are like many platforms. Then one platform was InstaHire, like specifically. So like in year of 2021, I had seen like a lot of like companies like Amazon, PayPal, and Intuit, like those all set of companies were posting the open roles in their like companies. So I
mhm,
had applied there also. Then what I did was the second step, like I tried to network with the recruiter that was mentioned there.
mhm,
Like this was the opening profile. So it's like first we need to check it, like if that particular position is available or not. So that was one way that how I had applied for companies. The second way was just going to the company websites and the career portals that they have, and searching for the open roles, and trying to like request for a referral from people who you have already, who are there in your network, who are there in your LinkedIn network basically. So
mhm,
that's how I had applied. Thirdly, I got a call from a recruiter, like in the month of October, I think I got a call from recruiter saying that, okay, Sagar, we have shortlisted your resume. So would you like to proceed by interviewing in PayPal? So they had asked me this. So the one thing is my mind was completely blown. So I was like super happy. So I got an opportunity to get interviewed with PayPal at least. So like getting that opportunity was like seems like a luck first. But when I thought like I had applied this much, so it was, yeah, eventually bound to happen. So it happened that time. So the interview process, how it began was like the first there was an online assessment, which contained two DSA problems that I had to solve within like 90 minutes. I think so. I don't remember the website also. So first problem will be usually from an easy to medium level,
mhm,
and I don't remember the questions also, but yeah, the second question will usually be medium to hard level, like that phase. Okay, so those were the online assessments, and to get into the next round, I had to clear these two problems. So then comes the second round. Yeah, the second round. Basically, it will be a face-to-face round,
mhm,
and the time taken like after the first round was around 1 week something to
mhm,
be evaluated. The second round was a face-to-face DSA round itself again.
mhm,
Basically, I was given two DSA problems and I had to solve it. One was involving a complex problem on binary search, and the other one was something of a hard problem, but I don't remember it currently.
okay.
So that was it. And the interviewer then these were the two questions that will be minimum marks. And
Okay.
then one thing was asked like what were the scenario based questions, the behavioral questions, and how do you approach them and everything. So my suggestion to everyone is like stick to star based method, like that will be super helpful. So that's how you like present your story, that's how you present your story to the interviewer so that he'll be impressed. And you should just not mention that incident, should also mention that what you did after the incident also. So that will create like a big impact to get your like an interview performance well, right? So that was being us, and my initial experience with TCS also. Then that was actually handled by a senior, just one level senior. Like I'm a software engineer, that was taken by software engineer two kind of a role.
Mhm,
So my next interviewer was taken by a senior software engineer. In here in PayPal, it's called a software engineer three. So
mhm,
I was again asked like three problems of DSA. Again, they were usually between medium and hard problems itself. Okay,
okay.
so it was I felt like that was like a tough thing to clear it out. Then I
Mhm,
was directly like I didn't have much time to code, so even interviewer agreed to my approach and everything. So then what he did was like directly get into the the technical skills that I had mentioned, like Java, I had mentioned, like I had done the personal projects, I had done my TCS projects and everything. So he asked me in detail, so what I had done, what the team was working on, who was the client, and how were the customers, like what was the impact made and everything. So that one was you have to be very well prepared. Like if you have done it, please do document it somewhere, and that will be really helpful to explain also. So that one was really asked. And lastly, aside from all this, one thing that the interviewer mostly expected from me was to know about the design patterns, which like I was like a bit not completely aware of. So like after a bit of discussion, the interviewer also helped me, and he saw the one judgment that I felt was like he saw how I quickly learned that particular design pattern that he asked me, and I was able to solve the problem also. So based on that, he was super impressed. So that was the senior software engineer that the round had taken. It was into technical discussion and DSA problems. Then lastly, last round, it was with the hiring manager round. Hiring manager round mostly involves in like knowing about your past projects, like technical discussion. It may or may not involve asking about DSA problem, but it heavily involves in technical discussion and knowing and your behavioral questions. Basically, like how will you handle this scenario? Like the interviewer, the hiring manager is really wanting you to see like if you're ready to get into the team or not. He's not just seeing to the company, he's also seeing if you're ready for the team, like seeing the team culture, like and everything. Like he also see that like one candidate can be adapt to it or not. So that one part was being tested. Then after like a few days, I got a confirmation call that I have been selected to paper.
Okay, okay. I must say that yes, you have given a complete overview, whether it's starting from the hiring process, then about all the rounds, talking about the difficulty level and how the things work, and even you explained certain points that one should take care of. So yeah. Okay, so I believe like these were some of the questions that I was willing to discuss with you, and again you have elaborated them so well. So thanks a lot for that. But before wrapping up the video, I would like to know if you have any advice or anything maybe from your journey or anything that you want to convey to the audience. So yeah.
Mhm. To answer this question, like I want to take a few steps back and like since I'm also teaching like a lot of students, right? So when I interact with college students, they're like unaware of what's actually happening outside their college, right? So that awareness is like not brought upon, like that some part cannot be taught in school, like solving DSA problems or solving the real world problems that cannot be learned in college. Like I'm not blaming college for this, but to be honest, this real world is like updating because just in the last 5 years, like since the COVID time, like yeah, 5 years, right? We saw the like job opportunities going from something like backend engineer to software engineer, then jumping to Web3 developer. There were like so many technologies in blockchain, and nowadays the trending part is the AI, the Chat GPT, the evolution of Chat GPT, right? How that came. So that one was like people like are unaware of those particular job roles. So one thing, like when I interact with them, they seem kind of lost. Like one advice is just get out of that comfort zone and just try to network as much as possible, because like you might have learned it, but like other people don't know to approach you. Like the recruiters are like waiting for you, like these are the skills required. So maybe you have learned it or maybe you have not learned it. So my one suggestion is like come out on LinkedIn, try to network with as many people as possible, like make sure your skills are being shown on LinkedIn or any of the social media apps. But majorly why I prefer LinkedIn is because yeah, the recruiters also are involved, and like you can see all of the techie people basically. I just want to like concise, put it in a single word, techie people, because recruiters are there, like all the tech people are there, and you can like get into the world like where you want to go. Like you can choose it, like or else you will be just shown the path of college, like this is the placement or this is how the companies are hiring, that thing. So my one advice is get out of that comfort zone. And due to the opportunity of the internet, right, you can contact anyone from anywhere. So that's one thing. So try learning cold messaging, try to get your communication more like even more effective, so that will help you gain more opportunities. So that's one way to beat luck actually. So luck will not be involved by that.
Got it. Great, great. I agree with the points that you have specified, and I believe that this is going to be really helpful for the people. Thank you so much for having this much informative discussion with me. It will help a lot of people. So again, thanks a lot, and probably later on we'll also collab for some other video. Thank you so much. Bye bye.
Bye. Thank you.